Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurudeva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva Tvameva vedya dravidam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So while I think of it, I want to let everyone know that our next offering will be the Art of Meditation, my basic course in meditation practice and the fundamentals of Vedanta. And it will start Saturday morning, the 13th of September. And it's an 8-week kind of a survey course. So, Soumya, are you on the email list? Is she there?
You're muted.
Soumya?
Yes, Jim. I don't know if I'm on the list.
Okay, what I would like you to do, because it's the way I communicate with people,
Yes.
go to thesilentway.org. That's our website.
Yes.
And then go to the contact page.
Okay.
And then if you fill in your email, that Ganesh Krishnan manages that. That will put you on the email list. And then we also have a WhatsApp. Do you do social media?
Some, yes, I do WhatsApp my sister for my sister.
I don't, but Mark, do you do it?
Yeah, I do.
So you can give the information to Mark. Are you an administrator on it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but you are, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah, Puneet here can get you on. I don't know, what does she need to do?
Number.
Okay, before class ends, we'll get your phone number.
Okie doke.
All right, and I have flyers here that you can pick up if you have friends who you think might be interested. This is our entry level class.
Alrighty.
And but it's a good review for those people who do have some background. All right, so where are we in our text?
We're in chapter 18, number 52.
And is Sonia the only local person online?
Believe so.
Okay. So will you help us out, please, Puneet?
Yeah. Uchrik khal khalpya kritika स्थितिर्धीरस्य राजते न तु संस्पृह चित्तस्य शान्तिर्मूढस्य कृत्रिमा. The conduct of the wise, the conduct of the wise one, which is unrestricted by motive, shines being spontaneous, that is free from pretense, but not the deliberate calmness of the foolish, whose mind is attached, in other words, full of desires.
Yes. So there's the distinction between the ordinary person with moral rectitude. This is not a bad thing. By all means, don't be a jerk just out of compassion for the rest of us. But the goody-goody, as I sometimes call it, the person who's controlling their behavior and their speech, and it's paradoxical, because in the early stage of practice, this is exactly what we need to do. But there's a difference between the someone who's practicing moral control or even mental control and the woman of steady wisdom who's out of control. So she has a natural humility. She has an authenticity. There's no persona there anymore. Persona is a very interesting word. It comes from persona, which means for sound. It's a reference to the masks that they used to have in Greek comedy and tragedy. You know, the comedy mask that looks up and the tragedy mask with the mouth going down. They amplified the voice is one of the things they also did. But most of us run around with a mask. Deep inside, I think I'm some kind of a monster. People knew who I really was. If I didn't control all the time, I'd just do terrible things. So I have this mask that I present to the world. And it's painful and it's burdensome and there's always cracks in it. And the paradox is when we renounce that mask and begin to start telling the truth about the monster I'm afraid I am or I think I am. The first real commitment to the abandonment of ego is the willingness to show up without trying to save your face. To be able to admit your faults, admit you made a mistake. And what happens is once we are not afraid of the monster that I think I am, it falls. And then our natural, uninhibited goodness starts to emerge. I was watching a video on YouTube this week of Coco the gorilla. Any of you know about Coco?
I remember the name, yeah.
She's down at Stanford. Penny something or other, can't remember her last name. But she started to work with this baby gorilla that was rejected by her mother and raised her and taught her sign language.
Right.
And she had an IQ of about between 70 and 90. And she knew over 1,000 signs, American Sign Language. Very self-aware animal. Would you call it an animal? But, she was so authentic. No one ever taught her the paranoid self-observation.
Wow.
It's just, and she would love kittens. She just loved kittens. One of her best friends was Robin Williams,
Mm.
and she wanted Robin to tickle her. And they'd laugh, and she'd tickle him, and then he'd tickle. I mean, just, it's marvelous to see that there's a natural goodness in nature. And there's a natural goodness in you. So the liberated personality that's free from all these kleshas operates in the world with no pretension, with an authenticity, many ways very childlike. But it's freedom. It's freedom. It's different than controlling. Any thoughts on this? All right, next verse.
Vilasanti mahabhogai vishanti giri gahnaran nirasta kalpana dhira avadha mukta buddhayah. The wise who are free from mental imagining, unbound and liberated in intellect, sometimes sport in the midst of great enjoyments and at other times retire to the mountain caves.
Yes. So in the end, the world of name and form is not problematic. And the person of steady wisdom can enjoy. Many ways they enjoy much more fully than the ordinary person. The ordinary person, when they're enjoying, is always got it tinged with fear. How long is it going to last? Can I hang on to it? Am I going to lose it? Can I get some more tomorrow? Is there a bigger helping of it? All those things in our minds. Shankara has that wonderful image. They're like a man at a banquet with a thorn in his throat. But the person of steady wisdom can enjoy without the need to possess. So when Swami Tapovanam was explaining this notion to Chinmayananda, they were high up in the Himalayas. And Tapovanam said, "Do you see the mountain over there?" Chinmaya said, "Oh, yes." And Tapovanam says, "Isn't it beautiful?" And Chinmaya says, "Oh, yes." And Tapovanam says, "No one can possess a mountain." Or for you and me in the Bay Area here, we are so blessed with gorgeous sunsets. Now you're up high enough in the hills. Do your windows look out?
Oh, yeah, look at gorgeous sunsets.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you enjoy them?
Yes.
Do you hang one on your wall?
No.
Yeah. And yet you don't have to have it. So the person of steady wisdom can spend a day or days by themselves, enjoying their solitude. So the person of steady wisdom is not afraid of the world. In the end, they're the greatest of enjoyers because they can enjoy without fear, without attachment, always with the understanding when desire and object of desire become one. That's a taste of myself. Most of us took Panchadashi, the last text before this. We had in those last 5 chapters all on Ananda, bliss. And he goes into depth describing Vishayananda, the bliss we experience when we taste the self using an object as a medium. Clear understanding. The world of name and form isn't bad. The names and forms are inherently empty, but what's there with the satisfaction of every desire is a kiss of the bliss of Brahman. Any thoughts on this? Next one.
Shrotriyam devatam tirtham anganam bhupitim priyam drishtva sampujya dhirasya na kapi hriday vasana. Whether he is honoring a Vaidika scholar, the gods, or the holy places, or seeing a woman, a king, or a beloved one, not a bit of desire ever springs in the heart of the wise one.
Yes. So in poetry, he's talking about these layers of vasanas, deha vasana, pleasures of the body being rubbed and fondled and kissed, good food, a massage, lokavasana, the attention of other people, the esteem of our fellows, being honored by society, being successful in business, or scholarship, the pleasure from knowing things, studying, learning things, and the esteem of other scholars. Dehavasana, Lokavasana, Shastravasana. The idea here is, while all those things may be present, no attachment. No attachment. The pleasures of the world are like a thimble full of water added to the ocean. That's for the person who has Atmaramana, can revel in the self. Going on.
Vrityai putrai kalaktraischa dauhitraischapi gautrajai vihasya dhritikao yogi No yati vikritin manak. The liberated is not at all perturbed, even when scoffed and abused by his servants, sons, wives, daughters, sons, and other relations.
Did he say sons twice?
Sons and daughters, sons.
Or meaning grandchildren?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So Einstein says it's all relative. Freud says it's all relatives. It's usually where our most difficult things are. So the person of steady wisdom is not at all perturbed by the scorn or the criticism of other people. Professionally, family. Every criticism is a projection of the other person. It's their issue. And every criticism is valid. It's probably useful to take a look to see if there's something there. But the person of steady wisdom certainly doesn't get upset about it. You've got a particular habit that's disturbing to other people, and they tell you about it. If they're upset about it, it's their problem. You don't take it on. But if their observation is valid, okay, I'll work on that one. And maybe it's not valid. Or maybe, yes, it's valid, but it doesn't bother me, so get over it. You figure it out. Nothing in this world is important enough for us to lose our peace of mind. Nobody has the power to make me feel anything. Most of us are convinced the world and its people are oftentimes just quite wrong. That may be true. But if I'm disturbed, no matter the cause, I'm the one with the klesha, with the defect, with the defilement. That doesn't mean they're right and I'm wrong. It means whatever they did, right or wrong, whatever they said, true or not true, if I'm upset, I have the problem. Any thoughts on this? Well, don't I have a right to be angry if I'm cheated? It's funny. I've been studying Vedanta for 50 years. The only place I've ever seen the scriptures addressed rights is in the discussion of karma yoga, where Krishna says, thy right is to work alone, never to its fruits. There's a lot of talk about duty. I don't talk about it. I have a right to my feelings. I just don't deal with it. Whole different frame of reference. I'm reacting. I have an attachment. I have an expectation. I have an identification. Bas, That's it. Nothing else. Any thoughts on this? One of the most difficult dimensions of the teaching to really internalize, because the ego wants to shame and blame. Next one.
Santushtopi na santushta, khinopi na cha khidyate, tasyāścarya dasham tam tam, tadrisha eva janate. Though delighted, he is not delighted. Though afflicted, he is not afflicted. Only those who are like him understand this stupendous state.
Yes. So the surface part of the mind may be seen to be reacting to the world just like an ordinary person. But inside, shunyata, void, empty. For those of us who studied Yoga Vasishta, there's this wonderful example of the person who's standing on the bank of the river in the hot season, who's roasted from head to foot. But another person has waded out into the river to their neck. And their head may be roasted, but from the shoulders down, shitala, cool. Only you can decide how serious your reactivity is. Whether there's some tapas to be done. Remember, we're not trying to impress another person. You don't get an enlightenment certificate from the teacher. You don't get a gold star on your homework. Everybody works this out for themselves. Take the teaching. Hear the teaching from the Guru. Study the scripture. Read a good commentary. You come to your own understanding. And don't get involved with other people's personalities. Let's see, is that person enlightened or not? Oh, I'm checking the scripture to see if they're authentically so. It's stupid. Someone asks a guru, are you enlightened? The guru responds, no matter what I say, you have no idea whether I'm telling the truth or not. You're not equipped to be able to know. I could be blowing smoke. You would know it. I could be telling the truth. You would know it. Think. So, if we internalize the teaching and find that we have more peace, more freedom, more joy in our lives, we can have faith in the teaching. Oh, only another person of wisdom can recognize another. Any thoughts on this?
I have a thought.
Yes, please.
Yes. Um, Intellectually, I can know that I'm detached, that I'm not, that it doesn't matter what so-and-so said about me, but emotionally, I can feel very upset.
Uh-huh.
And I have a hard time getting over that upsetness.
Yes, yes. Welcome to the human condition, Somi.
Yes,
So it's a practice.
yes,
So the Vedantic practice is, okay, are you the emotion?
no,
You sure?
no.
Do you see the emotion? Do you know the emotion?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, so you're the one who knows the emotion, you're not the emotion. This is viveka, constant discrimination. To whom did this upset occur? To me. Who am I? All the upset is in my mind. I'm not saying that's going to make it necessarily go away, but
Mhm.
over and over again, we notice the truth that there's always a subject object
Mhm.
relationship. That's viveka.
Yes.
Then there's what we call vairagya, dispassion or detachment. That desire to give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses. And then the second part is to give up our identification with any personal sense of self.
Mm.
So if someone says something unkind, you're a terrible human being. How could you do this to me? And your mind goes, how could you say that to me? Oh, if I feel like a person, I'm identified. Endeavor to let it go. Koham, who am I? I'm always the witness.
Mm. Yes.
Now, that is an excellent question for someone who might enjoy the art of meditation class, because these are exactly the kinds of things we deal with. As I've said before,
Mm.
this text is a capstone text.
Mm. Mm.
And you start by just saying the words, and the mind will follow.
Mm.
But we practice this detachment. We practice when people say things or things happen in the world, try to let them just pass through,
Mm.
not let them land. Have a mind like a sieve.
Mhm. Yes.
Easy to say, not easy to do.
Yes.
But this is the practice, and there's no magic bullet. There's no guru who's going to tap you on the head and that's all going to be fixed, or you take a funny pill and it's all going to be fixed. This is the manual labor of yoga. And we deal with these identifications and attachments, thought by thought. Now, it seems like an insurmountable task. Oh, there's millions of things that upset me. Actually, no. There's usually only about half a dozen. They just keep repeating themselves.
Mm.
For example, did you get upset this week, Somya?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel free enough to tell us one particular event?
Well, I went to a writing class, and the people there have been, I'm not a writer. I just wanted to go to a writing class and share some things and learn how to actually talk and write. And I found the people very supportive. But the last time I didn't really have time to write anything, and I just hastily wrote something. And this woman, she she kind of like she put me down so heavily. I mean, the class was so supportive, and here's this person who arrived on the scene, and she said, "Well, what's the purpose of that of the writing?"
Okay, now let's stop there. Is this
Yeah.
the first time you've had this feeling?
In my life?
Yeah.
Of course not.
So guess where the defect is? Is it a rude woman or is it something in you?
Both.
No,
Oh.
no. It's something in us. Always.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing. We have to own our suffering.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you play whack-a-mole with the world. Well, your ego will say, well, the obvious solution is to kill her, or at least get her out of the class, or to tell her off. Redress, revenge, all that sort of stuff, or not go back because I'm sensitive and I've been hurt.
Yes.
But that never solves it because it will keep coming up in our lives until we learn the basic fundamental practice.
Hmm.
F them if you can't take a joke.
Hmm.
Who knows what she was going through, and it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
But we don't personalize. And you probably did come to the class completely unprepared. So what?
Hmm.
There's a personal sense of self there. I want to be loved, accepted, supported, because I'm
Oh,
okay when I get those things from the world. And if I don't get them from the world, I'm devastated. That's, and welcome to the human condition. You're not at all unique. Anybody here in class ever had those feelings?
All the time.
Yeah.
right.
So the way to heal the mind, get out of the mind. Take the viewpoint of the witness. Oh, look at that, reacting like crazy. And stay away from the story. She's such a B word. How could she do that? She's so rude. And the whole rest of the class was so supportive. And that's the way it should be. And does that happen in your mind?
Like yes.
Uh-huh. That is ego's attempt to defend, to protect. It's like the animal licking their wound.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
all it is.
Mhm.
And we want to try to drop that whole process. Put your mind where your hands are working. So back in the old Est days, Werner coined a phrase, and all the people who had taken Est, it went all through the culture. Thank you for sharing. Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah. Yes.
And of course, you get to the 21st century, it's fuck you for sharing. But the idea is what she thinks of you it doesn't matter. And you're not a good writer. You're not a bad writer. You are witnessing consciousness. You are never touched by the 6 waves of sorrow. That's what we want to remember. Discrimination, subject-object discrimination, and detach, detach, detach.
Mm.
Is that useful?
Very useful, Jim. I really appreciate it. I'll
I
remember.
didn't make it up.
Yes.
You know, this is what our basic scriptures. We'll get the overview in the art of meditation, and then eventually we'll get into one of my favorite books of all time, The Crest Jewel of Discrimination. And you just learn this over and over and over again.
Mm. Great. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. It's a great question. It's a great question. And these kids here in the room, you know, how many times have you heard me say, is this the first time you felt this?
Many times. And we always say many times.
Yeah, but it's always the same. You know, like I say, there's only about a half a dozen things that hold the whole mind into place.
So true. Yes.
You know, and we just put different clothes on them,
Mm. Mm.
put different faces on them.
Mm.
Good question. Good question.
Mm.
All right, next verse.
कर्तव्य तैव संसारो न तां पश्यति सूरयः शून्यकारा निराकारा निर्विकारा निरामयाः. The sense of duty indeed is the mundane world. This is not acknowledged by the wise one who has realized himself as the all-pervading, formless, immutable, untainted self.
So the word in Sanskrit is kartavya, and here it's translated as a sense of duty. It's often translated as obligatory action. It's that sense that in order to be okay, I either need to fix the world or I need to fix me. Kartavya. Karta means the doer. And what's the doer doing? When we're caught up in ego, the phrase I've been using the past couple months is it's a condition of spiritual impoverishment. When I'm caught up in what we call jiva bhavana, the feeling that I'm a person, I'm not enough, the world's not enough. Who's had that feeling? And then ego's response is fix the world and or fix me. So back to Somya's example. You know, you can fix the world, you can just beat the crap out of that rude woman. Or you can get all the other people in the class to tell you you're a brilliant writer. Or you can fix yourself. I'll show them. I'll come back with the great American novel next week. Change yourself. But both are this kartavya. I'll be happy when, it'll be better if, more, different. And it's all has as its cause this jiva bhavana. I think I'm a person. And it is the first fruit of spiritual ignorance, the non-apprehension of myself. First, I do not know, I forget, or it gets occluded in my mind that I am Brahman. Or as Shankara says, Chidananda Rupaham. My nature is bliss consciousness. Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva, I am auspicious. But then I forget that. And I think I'm Jim and I got issues. I gotta correct this bad habit. Or the world's mean. They're all so mean. Don't they know who I am? I'm sensitive. Which is a way of dressing up, I'm easily hurt. Because I'm identified and attached. It's interesting. I may have shared this with you guys before. A Westerner once came to Chinmaya and said, "Hey, Swami, how'd you get into all this?" I just love it. And he took it seriously. And he thought for a moment and he said, what alternative is there for a sensitive person? So he was just like you, Sonia, and me. Wounding easily, healing slowly. I used to tell people I have a mind like a gardenia. You know, they're pretty to look at, but you know what happens when you touch the petal?
It grows.
Turns brown. Is your heart like a gardenia? And then the scriptures say, actually, no, your heart is like a lotus. Beautiful, fragrant flower, but its roots are in the slimy muck of the bog. Going up.
अकुर्वन्नपि संक्षोभात् व्यग्र सर्वत्र मूढधिः कुर्वन्नपि तु कृत्यानि कुशलो हि निराकुलः. The fool, even in inaction, is ever agitated by his commotion within. But the adept or wise, even when performing his duties, indeed is unperturbed.
So the person who's ego identified, mudha, a fool. Pretty harsh, but it's true. You can go to a board meeting and not say a word. Everybody's comment agitates you and irritates you. Anybody had that feeling? Or a team meeting at the company? Or even a social event. You get together with a bunch of your peers, like you, when you've gone to your social events with your fellow restaurateurs.
Mhm.
Everybody says and does stuff, and inside you're, oh, you ever had days like that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And you're sitting there, you're so polite, so calm, and inside,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
but the person of steady wisdom finds it all funny. Because it's just people. acting out the dance of their egos. And for the Sthita Prajna, the person of steady wisdom, so familiar with their own mind, therefore knows everybody else's mind. We're so much more alike than we are different. Then there's this sense of compassion, this sense of empathy, this humor. I'll give you an example. I see this all the time. If I go to an AA meeting, someone will get up and they're telling their story and they're sharing like, oh, I was there at a staff meeting at work, and while the whole thing was going on, in my mind, I was trying to correct everybody, and the whole room bursts out laughing. How can you laugh at this person's suffering? Because we're all doing it too. Well, there's a tremendous sense of identification with the human condition and transcendence as well. Next verse.
Sukhamaste sukham shete. Sukhamayati yati cha. Sukham bhakti sukham bhunte. Vyavahare pishantadihi. Even in practical affairs of life, the wise one of peaceful mind sits happily, sleeps happily, moves happily, speaks happily, and eats happily.
Yes. They're a no drama person. Depending on what we call your prarabdha karma, whatever character the Lord has given you in this lifetime. You may have a leading role. You may just have a bit part. You might even be just a supernumerary in the back of the chorus, just standing there, a spear carrier. But whatever role you're given, it's not you. And the jnani fulfills their duty in the world. It isn't going to be any better getting a different shtick. Just different. If we're attached and identified, we're going to suffer. You're not. You're free. And I love what Krishna says. He says, even a little of this knowledge frees us from great fear. You don't have to wait until realization dawns on the mind. Just practicing this discrimination and detachment frees us from great fear. Gives us enormous peace. And yoga is skill in action, Krishna says. This knowledge makes us masters of this world and the beyond. You become an effective person in the world because you're not caught up in your reactivity. You're not caught up in the stories in your head. You're just doing what's right in front of you. Next verse.
Swabhavadhyasya naivarti lokavad Vyavaharinah Mahahrid Ivakshobhyo Gataklesha Sushobhate. One who, due to his inner disposition, even when engaged in practical affairs of life, does not have any distress like ordinary people have. He remains unagitated like a vast lake within, with all his sorrows extinguished, he indeed shines.
Yes. So unafflicted by desires, as calm as a fire that has burned up its fuel. I love that image. Because at one point the fire was a raging inferno. But all of that's quietened down. So the Stita Prajna, the person of steady wisdom in the world, is solution oriented. When situations arise, when conflict arises, when a task arises, not caught up in other people's personalization. And she doesn't personalize either. So she can become solution oriented. Solve the problem that's in front of you. Pretty obvious. But how many of us know it's all about my feelings? Next one.
Nirvrittirapi mudasya pravrittirupajayate pravritirapi dhirasya nivritti phalabhagini. With the fool, even withdrawal, inaction becomes action. With the wise, even action results in the fruit of withdrawal, inaction.
Yeah. So the foolish person avoids engaging in the world because of fear. And you know, our fear, it's like so deep an activator. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being in crowds. I'm afraid of being in a relationship. I'm afraid of having no one in my life. I'm afraid of success. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of speaking in public. I'm afraid no one will listen to me. Am I making sense? These double binds that we find ourselves in, how our fear just runs and paralyzes us. So what does Arjun do at the end of chapter 1, in the very beginning of chapter 2, when he is afraid?
Wants to run away.
We did nothing.
Why? Because the ancestors won't get their pinda. They won't get their rice balls. Dude, you got a job to do. You're the commander in chief of the effing army. Get up and fight. So you're prepping for dinner. It's Friday night at the restaurant. Chef is supposed to be getting all this stuff ready. And they get upset. I'm going home. That ever happen?
Yeah.
Did you ever do it?
No, I never did. Other people did it. I never did. No. I haven't. Yeah,
Get over yourself.
right.
Yeah. So running away from the world is never a solution. And what does Krishna say Arjuna is going to do if he runs away to the forest to be a meditator? He's going to think about the battle he should have been fighting. We cannot run from life. I take that back. You can run, but you cannot hide. Because wherever you go, you take your mind with you. So if the mind is at peace, as the jnani moves through the world, sarvam kalvidam brahma, it's all God. Brahma satyam jagan vidya. Oh, it's the Leela play. Next one.
परिग्रहेषु वैराग्यं प्रायो मूढस्य दृश्यते देहे विगलिताशस्य क्व राग क्व विरागता. The fool often shows aversion to his possessions. Where is attachment and where is aversion for him whose love for the body has vanished?
Yes. So the fool is all caught up in, oh, I have to renounce this, I have to renounce that. I can't have possessions. I have to live simply and humbly because I don't want to get attached. They worry about that. But for the person of steady wisdom, all of it is Maya. Now, that doesn't mean they may not choose to live rather simply, because it's much less work. Some scriptures call the person of steady wisdom the divine idler. Because if you have stuff, then you got to maintain the stuff, which is usually means work. Nothing wrong with work if you enjoy it. But Swamiji talked a lot about how America may have a high standard of living, but does not have a high standard of life. And one of the things I have seen post 2008, the whole idea of work changed in this country after 2008. And one of the big changes is the 40-hour work week went right out the window. Some labor jobs still has a 40-hour work week, and labor unions fought for this. 20s, the 30s, the 40s, a 40-hour work week. But those of you who are in IT, if you want to climb the ladder, it's 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Where's the quality of life? Yeah, but look at all the stuff I have. Paid vacations. Mm-mm. But there's free food at Google. Yeah, so they keep you there. But we get caught up. in the lure of acquisitiveness. More stuff, more stuff, more stuff. He's talking with a friend. He had his second motorcycle stolen. I really don't need a race rocket. I should get just a useful bike because it's easier for him to commute to work on his motorcycle.
Is that Elon?
I won't say.
Okay.
He bought an even more powerful and sexy race rocket.
And it got stolen too.
It's not Elon.
Oh, it's not, it's somebody else. Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
But it's funny. Yeah. Shiny, fast. That's our minds. Person of steady wisdom has santosha, contentment. All right, next one.
भावनासक्ता दृष्टिर्मूढस्य सर्वदा भाव्यभावनया सा तु स्वस्थस्या दृष्टिरूपिणी. The view of the fool is always attached to ideation and non-ideation. But the view of the one established in the self, though engaged in the ideation of objects, is of the nature of non-ideation.
Yes. So because the person of steady wisdom deeply understands the fundamentally illusory nature of the mind, I cannot think a real thought, and neither can anyone else. Of course, unworldly things, you may have an opinion. But the person of steady wisdom is perfectly capable and free to drop their opinions, nor do they need to be right, prove someone else wrong. They're just ideas. We give up stories about people and situations and things. Now, again, that doesn't mean you don't read the newspaper or watch, the news or listen to a commentator. You like this one, you don't like that one, but at a deep level, there's no identification, no attachment. God's in charge. Yogi watches. Fascinating. Interesting. But not upsetting. Okay, we'll end here. And before we go, if you turn off we'll do the chant. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Oh, that's